talking more negative about films this year than I am what I usually feel like I feel comfortable with almost. But it's tough because sometimes you'll go into a movie and you really want to try to like it, but I have like these certain rules. Like if you go into a comedy film and you don't laugh, then the movie sucks. If you go into an action film and the action's good but the story sucks, it's still a good action film. If you go into a horror movie and it doesn't scare you, then what's the point? Even if it doesn't have even if it does have good scares, it has to still have a story behind those scares. It can't just be jump scare after jump scare. Like I'm not a 4-year-old. I can't just sit down in front of Cocomelon and be excited over nothing. I need something to have substance. And a film like this is really upsetting when it comes to the lack of substance because what it derives from, it's just okay. I got to make a note to talk about the idea of substance closer to the end of this because first I feel like I need to explain. SiREN is a film from 2016. It was released by the Chiller Network as one of their mainstream films that they kind of wrote, produced, and directed and everything. SiREN is based off of a piece of another film. For those who aren't really initiated, VHS is a film series that's kind of also an anthology-based series that tells a bunch of little mini-stories that exist in the realm of one bigger story. The very first VHS that came out, it was in 2012. It's probably the best one in the series. There's a small part of that, one of the anthological stories, called Amateur Night, which is essentially what they took and created this film SiREN. Why does it suck? Because it lacks all of the substance that they had in its original format. Now, VHS is a film. Now, let me tell you, I believe, if I understand this correctly, it has Amateur Night. One, two. Let me look it up right now. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it has 6 different stories that it tries to tell over the course of about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes. I'm doing the math in my head right now of 116 minutes. So about an hour and 45 minutes is what it's trying to tell these 6 different stories. One of them being the film Amateur Night, which was then spun off into SiREN. So if you're thinking 6 stories over an hour and 45 minutes, roughly they're going to get anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes a piece. That 15 to 20 minute gap that it had in that anthological movie, VHS, had more substance than this film that is 80 minutes long. This film is 80 minutes long. It's less than an hour and a half. It's just a little over an hour if you account for credits and intros and shit. It does not live up to the substance potential that it had. Nothing about its original story does it live up to. The only thing it still has is the same actress playing the same monster. That's it. That's the only thing it's connected to. So the VHS version has these guys going out for a night, trying to pick up chicks. One of them has these glasses that like records in POV mockumentary style fashion. And the VHS series in and of itself is a mockumentary style series as well, so that's why that's formatted to be that. So when you pull that story out, where it's like they pick up the chick and the chick winds up being a monster and winds up killing all of them, you created this film, which first off isn't mockumentary style. It's not first person. It's not any of that. It's a straight regular film, which, okay, if that's the decision you're going to make, that's the decision you're going to make. Not based on its source that it's provided from. But now it's a bachelor party, and they go out into the woods to this creepy sort of strip club that's in like a house, and then they find this girl who they think is like a sex slave, and they try to save her. But in all actuality, she's actually the creature, which turns out to be this like succubus kind of thing. And she like falls in love with one of the dudes who's rescuing her. And as they escape, she winds up by like killing a bunch of them, and then she doesn't leave the dude alone and stalks him for like years, and then finally finds him, breaks into his house, kidnaps him, and flies off into the air with him, and that's how the film ends. It just this whole process, and again, I might be missing a couple of things throughout the film, but that's essentially all it is. You don't need the other stuff because it's not necessary. You watch the VHS version, it's gonna feel a whole lot more satisfying than watching this version. Waste the 100 minutes on that than the 80 minutes on this. It's just really upsetting because I feel like there are often these anthologies that have so much potential in the mini stories they say. ABCs of Death is a huge example of that. I feel like there's so many huge potential separate films that could be made out of all those individual films they make. And those are 27 different... I'm sorry. ABCs of Death. It's 26 letters. There are 26 different stories that a good portion of them could easily become films and be worthwhile. The VHS films are no different. But the fact that they did this one, and they did it so bad, it's just really upsetting because it's definitely this shining example of how, we just can't do this again. We just can't do this again. And that sucks because, yes, you can. You 100% can do this again. You just have to do it better, and you have to do it the right way. Because however you decided to do it was really poor, and whoever was the decision-making people that were part of that definitely need to be reconsidered, or the writing team that was on board with that definitely has to be reconsidered, because this is just a poor excuse for what could have been a really big deal, especially when it comes to people who are huge fans of the VHS franchise. I love the VHS movies. I have my favorites. I have the ones that I dislike. It's just like any other franchise. But I really dislike this film for how much it sort of kind of spits in my face as a VHS fan for what it is they were trying to do. Maybe they had all the best intentions, but it just missed on so many marks that I can't say one positive thing about it, except for the fact that, they did it. Congratulations, you did it. Well done. You made my dream come true, but then you shattered my dream all at the same moment. Thanks a lot.